Hi y'all, and welcome to our tutorial on how to test sources for reliability. My name is Lena Gray, and I'm so excited to walk you all through this today, whether or not this is your first time learning this information, or if you're here for a brush up on some of your ninth grade skills. So our focus today is going to be on evaluating sources based on the reliability of authors and creators of these sources, which is particularly important when you are looking at information with online research. Now, why does this matter? Why do we care? There is a lot of information on the internet, and not all of it is good quality information. There is misinformation, which is when people share information that they believe is true, even though it's false. There is also disinformation, where people purposefully share false information with the intent of harming other people. So our goal as researchers is to find the good information. This will help us support our arguments with evidence, which is a useful skill both in your high school classes as well as when you graduate. So to do this, we will be looking at the SIFT method, which stands for Stop, Investigate the Source, Find Better Coverage, and Trace to the Original Context. Now, we will not be talking about trace to the original context today, as when we are looking at the reliability of authors and creators, we will focus on our first two steps. Then, if your source fails those first two steps, we will move on to find better coverage. Now, the first step in research is to quite literally stop. Don't read anything just yet. You need to take a look at the source you're using first. Are you familiar with this source? Is it one that you have used before? Do you trust it? Why do you trust it? Oftentimes, this is why your teachers will ask you to use library databases that your school might own. They are familiar with these sources, and they know that these sources contain reliable information. Therefore, they trust it. However, often you will be doing research on your own, and you'll use Google as your starting point. So let's do that. Let's say that you have a project coming up that discusses the Great Depression, and you've decided to look up the Great Depression and its relationship with dictatorships. Pretty common topic. Now, the first thing that pops up is the AI overview, and I will tell you right now, your teachers will most likely not accept this as a source. We are looking for information with greater context rather than something that has a summary of a bunch of different sources online. What it can be useful for, however, is this little link button here. Now, this will show you precisely where they are getting some of this information from, and then you can go in and use these sources. Now, speaking of our stop step, this very first source is digital history. I am very familiar with the source of digital history. I've used it before. I know that it's a reliable source, and I'm familiar with it. So therefore, I could go into this source and be happy with the information that I have already found. Now, even if you might have seen these sources before, we still maybe want to question them a little bit. So our next step is to investigate these sources. There are a lot of questions to consider when looking at sources, particularly, and I would say the most important, is who or what published this source. Anyone can post anything on the internet, so we need to figure out if there is a person or organization that is publishing this for a reason. Do they have a bias? Do they lean one way or another politically or socially? Do they have an agenda? For example, are they trying to pass a law that would lead them to maybe omit or add certain information to their articles? Organizations are set up to do things, so it's good to question that. And all of these questions should lead us to answer the question, are they trustworthy? So we'll go back to our example of digital history. So sometimes you can find out this information just looking at the website. So when we scroll to the credits at the very bottom, we see one, they show the materials that they use in digital history, which include a U.S. history textbook, annotated documents, primary sources, all of which are good pieces of information. And if we scroll down, we can see the collaborative team. Now, all 5 members of this team are professors of history, of instruction. Therefore, we can infer that they are experts in their field, that they are well researched in their fields, and this would therefore be a reliable source. But let's say you decide that you want to scroll further down and you find this source from BBC. And maybe you're not super familiar with BBC and you don't really know how to find out information about it. This is where I'm going to teach you the Wikipedia trick. So what we are going to do is quite literally search up the BBC on Wikipedia. So we found it right here, and this will tell us what the BBC is. It stands for British Broadcasting Corporation, and it's a public service broadcaster in London. It's been around since 1922, 1927, and it says that it was established under a royal charter and operates under an agreement with the Secretary of State for Culture, Media, and Sport. Translated, that means that it is in part funded and overseen by the government, which means that it would be important to take a look at some of these sources as they might have a pro-British government bias or agenda, which more independent news sources may not have. Now you might be asking, Ms. Gray, my teacher says I'm not supposed to use Wikipedia for my research. Why can I use it for this? Well, Wikipedia, anyone can post on it, right? It does have very strict rules in terms of being able to link your information to reliable sources, which is why we can use it for this purpose. But we don't want you using it for research because, again, anyone can post, and we want to focus on information from experts. However, what will be very useful for you is the references page and works cited in Wikipedia. Now, this led us to all of these various sources which are reliable and we can see are from different expert sources. For example, we have sources published by Oxford University Press, by the Manchester University Press. When we're looking at college publications, typically we'll be able to trust those sources. Now, taking a look at the source is one thing, but another way to take a look at whether or not a source is reliable is to also take a look at who wrote it. Are they an expert? Are they an authority on the subject? Looking at that, we need to look at what is their job, have they lived through this experience, are they a well-researched academic, have they been published before, have they been studying this information for a long time, and for current events in particular, taking a look at why they wrote it. Was there a purpose behind it? So we're going to go back to digital history for this one, and we're going to take a look at Stephen Mintz, who is a professor of history from the University of Texas at Austin, but we're going to use the internet to confirm that. So we'll use the Wikipedia trick once again for Stephen Mintz, and it does confirm on there that he is an American historian, University of Texas. He taught history at Oberlin. It looks like he's had many different university employments. The important thing here is to make sure you have the right person, because the Stephen Mintz, who is a former professional baseball pitcher, probably is not posting on digital history. Now, if you are still not totally sure if you can trust this person, I would recommend going to Google Scholar and seeing if you can find if this person, by searching up their name, has published works before. And we can see here that he has been published in journals, in books. We can trust what he has to say. He has been peer reviewed in the past. He is considered an expert in his field. Now, if your sources don't pass muster, remember, we are looking for the best result, not the first result. That's why we moved past the AI overview. We want something that is better. So keep looking until you find that good quality information. Also take a look at if the information you're finding is only in one source. If that's the case, you might be dealing with a case of false information, disinformation, if you will, and it might be a good thing to try to corroborate that. We will not be discussing trace to the original context today. My one note will be to make sure that if someone is quoting a historical figure, you try to figure out if it is actually a quote from that figure or if someone decided to make a meme off of it and post it on Google. Now, the last question we need to ask ourselves is I should use this source? First, we got to check if it's accurate. This is where fact-checking comes in handy, making sure the information is in multiple sources. Relevance is also good. Does this information answer your question? Will it support your argument? And then finally, is this information current? Has there been more research done in the last few years that would make for better information for your particular topic? That is particularly important for current events. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.